And welcome to Entrepreneur Radio. I'm your host, Jim Stevens. Each week I bring you entrepreneurs who are good at helping us improve our businesses. And I have in the studio with me today Les Cunningham, a friend of mine. I've been a client of his for many years. And one of the things Les does as a business consultant is he works with a lot of businesses that are transitioning their company from the existing generation to the next generation, or trying to sell their business. I heard a scary statistic, Les. It was 8 million baby boomers expect to retire that are small business owners. Of that, they all want to sell their business. Statistically, only 25% are going to be successful in selling their business. So what does it take to sell a business or transition a business?
Well, Jim, the first thing it takes is to have a profitable company, because when somebody buys a company, they don't want to buy a non-profitable company. A lot of entrepreneurs believe that, well, we're going to sell the business to our kids. And so some of them actually think they'll sell the kids a loser. Their kids are smarter than that, and they want to buy a winner. So it's deciding, what profit do we make, and then consistently cranking out that profit so that you have an entity that can generate this much money.
I'm guessing that many businesses are not sellable because if you extract the owner from it, the business goes away. How do you mitigate that risk?
You generate a business that has a system in it that can run without the owner. And it means then that the owner has to work at developing a team that can take over in the absence of that owner. Maybe not all of the time, but when it comes time to sell it, the potential new owner can come in and say, gee, I can do what this owner does with this team.
So what that owner must be able to demonstrate that they do is not key to the business. It's oversight.
Right. And that somebody else can come in on a training plan and learn how to run it and take it over.
So to get that business ready for sale, how long does it take and what steps do you have to go through?
Great question, Jim. We just put together with a client, we had a 5-year plan. Her husband had an illness and couldn't work in the business, so she came in and ran it. She worked for 5 years to sell it, and she got a very nice EBITDA on the sale of her business, but it was a profitable business, and so you only get paid on profitability.
And we actually worked with the same client. Les recommended her to us, and when she took over the business that her husband started, she didn't know anything about insurance restoration.
Exactly.
And it was a period of 5-6 years that she got it sellable and sold it.
Exactly. We got it done in 5 years, and she's quite thrilled with what's going on now.
You have an event coming up, the Gathering of Eagles, and the theme of that event is going to be
how we sell your business.
So tell our listeners about what it is, where it is, and how they'd get more information.
It's going to be at the Greenbrier, which is in West Virginia. It's a very nice place to go. It has an incredible golf course at the Greenbrier, and so we'll be playing that course while we're there. It's May 1 through 4. There'll be a discussion for about 3 days on how do I sell my business and other allied subjects to go with it.
And is this primarily for insurance restoration contractors and remodelers?
No, our business, about 60% of our client base currently, because it changes, is insurance repair. The other 40% are other different types of businesses, HVAC, sign companies, all different kinds of things. So it's about business. It's not about being specifically about insurance or anything else.
So regardless of the business you're in, you would get value by attending.
Exactly.
And your website so they could get more information for the Gathering of Eagles?
Businessnetworks.com.
We're talking about selling our business. So in order to sell my business, I have to have some kind of a recurring revenue, don't I?
Right.
So is that recurring revenue essential for sales?
It is. As an example, in a remodeling business, there is generally no recurring revenue because every job is different. On the insurance repair side, you have working with the same insurance companies all the time, and they're having losses all the time. So you can have a recurring revenue stream in that manner.
And in remodeling, I think the only recurring revenue you get there is past clients reconnecting.
Right.
And is there a timeline? Every 7 years people remodel, or what can you anticipate?
If there is, I'm not aware of what it is, but it's kind of when they want to. And the difference too in the business is in remodeling is a want. Insurance repair is a need. And the insurance companies pay for it, where in remodeling, the client pays for it.
How do I handle the employee side of the equation if I'm thinking about selling my business? Because I'm going to want to make sure the employees are willing to stay.
Right.
And if they know I'm selling, isn't that going to make them get the jitters and want to leave?
It is, and that's why a lot of times you have to not tell your employees that you're selling until you've got the deal solidified. One of the conditions in the contract a lot of the times is the employee team staying. So now you may have to incentivize the employees on why they should stay and, frankly, what's in it for them. Because once they understand what's in it for them, they'll then be concerned with what's in it for you.
So what kind of incentive do they typically build?
They might get a piece of the profitability. They might get a pay adjustment in a direction they'd like it to go. The important question is, what would motivate the employee? And when you know what motivates them, you've got your answer for what to do.
So really, it could even be a staying bonus. I'm going to give you 10 grand, but you don't get it until 2 years down the road or something.
Right.
What other pitfalls go into selling your business?
Most people don't have anything to sell. It's in their brain what they think it's worth. The real one that determines what it's worth is what they're willing to pay for it.
So I don't know the value until I find somebody who's willing to buy it.
Exactly. One of the rules we can use is EBITDA, the earnings before what the company's done, and then a multiple of that EBITDA in each industry has a different number. Your CPA can be of help to you. We could be of help to you. You know what you're doing.
So the biggest challenge I would guess you have as a consultant is helping a business owner realize, I think my business is worth $1 million, but somebody's only willing to pay $250,000.
Exactly.
How do you overcome that?
You identify the issues and then work with the client to realize the economic reality of what's going to transpire.
So my advice to you, if you're listening to us as a business owner, in the consulting industry, have this thing we call the rolling 5 years. You ask somebody who's in their mid-60s, when do you plan on retiring? They'll say, in about 5 years. You ask them in their late 60s, when do you plan on retiring? They say, in about 5 years. You ask them in their early 70s, and it's this rolling, in about 5 years. I think you've got to come up with a date certain, and you've got to come up with a very clear game plan that's going to get me from where I am today to that date certain. Then I can decide if I still want to keep it, it's profitable and sellable. If I do want to sell it, now I have the opportunity. If somebody's listening to us and wants to have your help in that, Les, how would they get a hold of you?
Businessnetworks.com, Les, L-E-S at businessnetworks.com, or call me at 800-525-1009, extension 14.
Thank you, Les, for being on this program. I'm Jim Stevens, your host. If you know of somebody who would be a good contributor to this segment of our show, please have them give us a call at area code 208-429-9275. That's 208-429-9275. Or catch us on the web at crossroads.sandler.com. We're going to be back with the final segment of the Sandler Training Hour and Behind the Business just after